Hello world! Today I will be reviewing the 1976 movie Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese. This Scorsese-Robert De Niro combination is personally one of my favorites. I got chills just from saying that. And this movie came out in 1976, of course, and it went on to receive 4 Academy Award nominations and was also selected to be a part of the National Film Registry. It follows the story of a man named Travis Bickle, a lonely taxi driver who works in the city at nights, but after being constantly rejected by women, he decides to clean up the filth of the city. This movie absolutely horrifies me in the best possible way, to be honest. I mean, more than any horror movie. Or maybe not, because I'm not really a horror movie fan, but one thing's for sure regardless, this movie just sort of creates a real terror for me because I know that if I saw Travis Bickle in real life, this is a man that I would need to run away from. I love almost every aspect of this movie. I mean, it's really one of my favorite Scorsese movies in general, and I haven't seen a whole lot of them. I've only seen this and Cape Fear, Shutter Island,
many hours later,
Goodfellas, and Wolf of Wall Street. But you just have to say, I mean, Scorsese makes very interesting choices here to tell this story. And the way that he frames the characters and different details in this movie and all of the complexities really lend itself to make you want to watch it over and over again. I mean, certainly for me, when I watch it, I know I see different little details that Scorsese put like in the background or maybe sometimes even in the foreground. Like the subtle glares between Travis and the black citizens of the city, or when he notices people fighting. And I heard a clip of Scorsese saying that a lot of the scenes in this movie between De Niro's character and a black citizen where they're just glaring at each other, he said that that sort of dichotomy was probably not even in reality. And so I really love how this movie explores the way someone sees the world can be really affected by the things they choose to bring attention to, eventually driving them to see things that, you know, some may be there and some may not be there. But enough about Scorsese. De Niro is freaking brilliant in this movie. I mean, every second he's on screen, the camera just captures all these tiny details that he's doing with his eyes and his face, and it's just really incredible to watch this guy just spiral out of control. The way that he relates to his friends, the way that he relates to women, the way that he relates to himself, everything that Robert De Niro does in this movie is so very specific that it just all... Yeah. The scene where he's outside of the diner with his friend and Robert De Niro's character is trying to get off his chest all the bad feelings that are just welling up inside of him, and De Niro's just sort of like busting at the seams here. It's just really incredible, but he's holding himself together in a way that you don't really see that often in performances, you know, because actors like to do their whole but De Niro's really reserved here. It's like he's trying to hold back some sort of beast or something, and the voiceover moments I really like in this movie as well. And I think that Jodie Foster and Sybil Shepherd do excellent jobs in the movie, particularly Sybil Shepherd. But my absolute favorite part of this movie is undoubtedly the score done by Bernard Herrmann. I mean, this is a score that I will save and listen to, but only once in a while because the opening track is just terrifying for me. The sporadic drums in the beginning that create this sort of unpredictable feeling of terror, and they build up to this really loud clash in the music. It's like Travis himself, you know, I mean, it really scares me. But at the same time, there's this sort of ethereal quality to it with the harp noises and the piano tones, like what gets played when he meets the Sybil Shepherd character. And these sort of powerful tracks just really evoke some really raw emotions, in my opinion, for me at least. I mean, to quote the famous line from the movie, it's almost as if the score itself is a walking contradiction. I mean, honestly, every aspect of the score complements this movie in such a very specific way that I don't think I'd like this movie that much if it weren't for the score. Well, no, I'd still love it because Robert De Niro, but the score for this movie is one of my favorite parts. And of course, the screenplay is really interesting, telling this story that we don't really see too often, I would say, even now. I mean, unless we do, please tell me in the comments, because I'd like to check some more movies like this out. I mean, of course there's Joker, but at the time, I'm sure it was very different project. I mean, Scorsese said that it was kind of difficult to get made, but regardless, when they did get it made. There's so much iconography in this movie. I mean, the movie theater scenes, the mirror scene, the walking contradiction line. This movie has been referenced all over the place. And about being memorable, I feel like the very first watch of this movie is really special for anyone who's a fan of this movie, because I remember when I first watched it, there's definitely that sort of betrayal that you might feel from just watching this story. And I really don't want to spoil any of this in case anyone has not seen the movie yet, but the way Scorsese shows you this character really asks you to look at yourself, because it's almost as if you really see yourself in this guy to a certain extent. I mean, I did to a certain extent when I was watching it, but as the time goes on, you just have to question, because it really asks you as a viewer to look inward in a way that you really might not want to. Because when you see what happens to Travis, you just kind of have to ask yourself, could that have been me? I mean, the feelings of loneliness and isolation, rejection, and the longing to become a person, so to speak, just rings true throughout this entire movie. And I also like how this movie approaches racism, because it just shows it to be like subtle glares in between the characters. And I want to say I disagree with the claim that this is a racist movie, because obviously it doesn't glorify Travis in any way. And Spike Lee kind of does the same thing in his movie, Do the Right Thing. It's just, everyone's a lot louder in that movie. Love Do the Right Thing, incredible movie. But once again, I mean, regardless of your opinion on this movie, the iconography created here is just really insane. I mean, there are references to this movie in 1995's Lion and in 2019's Joker, even though probably not consciously, I guess. But whatever Todd Phillips says about how he did or didn't reference Taxi Driver in his movie, the similarities are undeniable. I mean, I saw Taxi Driver after seeing Joker and hearing everyone saying that Joker is like Taxi Driver, so when I finally saw Taxi Driver after seeing Joker, I wanted to scream because of how much Taxi Driver is like Joker. And I've also heard people say that Joker resembles another Scorsese-De Niro combo called King of Comedy, but I haven't seen that movie yet, so I can't comment on that now. As far as comparing this movie to Scorsese's other films, I mean, you just know with Scorsese, you do not pin him down. He makes what he wants, and he goes all over the place with these movies. I mean, they're the gangster stories, the rich Margot Robbie wife stories, and Cape Fear. I love Jessica Lange, by the way. I just have to say that. I mean, I love Jessica Lange. She's an amazing actress. Anyway, if you would care so much to recommend me a Scorsese film, because I really haven't seen a whole lot of them, I'd take it in the comments. I'd probably even make a video about it, because literally, why not? Overall, I'm not sure if I can recommend this movie to everyone, because it's sort of a haunting thing for me. Like, it's not fun. As I said in the title, like, this movie terrifies me. But if you're really into movies or looking for a sort of thrilling or, in my opinion, scary ride for the night, I think it's on Netflix right now. So yeah, go check it out. It's a very interesting achievement by everyone involved. So overall, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Commenting is most important, I would say, just because I get to, talk to you guys in that way. And yeah, I also have a letterbox. If you're interested, you can follow me there and see all the other movies that I'm watching. And I want to say, I think I'm going to move away from using all the movie clips and get down to more of a conversation type of video. So hopefully I didn't bore you all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching if you've made it to this point. Mwah. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.